Braves, it's Dodgers. Good matchup in this league championship series. Now, welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. That is a Hall of Famer, John Smoltz. The top two seeds are left in the National League. And John, when you look at the numbers as these two franchises meet for the first time in LCS history, the offensive numbers are pretty similar.
They really are, and they're scary in both ways, that they can play the game with power, they can play the game with speed. But when you talk about the numbers, they're 1 and 2 in just about everything. The Dodgers can make pitchers pay 1 through 9. And what the Braves have been able to do, it all starts with both leadoff hitters. And if you think about this series and the keys to offensive success, the Braves strike out more than the Dodgers. It could come down to who puts the ball in play more than the other team.
And in the postseason, that has not been easy to do against either staff. The pitching numbers are out of this world so far in the postseason.
It really is difficult when you look at the stats to split these two teams on paper. Both won 5 games in the postseason. Both pitched outstanding from the starters and the bullpen. And again, the depth of the Dodgers will be the swinging point if it comes down to that. They have more depth than the Braves do.
Yep, each side also has an MVP candidate from the regular season. We'll go down to the field and start with the Dodgers side and Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. In recent playoffs, the Dodgers have been strikeout prone, home run reliant. But this year, their offense is more varied, and a big reason is Mookie Betts. In their 3-game sweep of the Padres, the Dodgers scored 23 runs, but only 1 came on a homer. Betts was on the front end of a double steal. He took extra bases. He set the tone for the entire team. Now, this ballpark plays big, but the Dodgers have shown they can score in multiple ways. Now, over to Tom Verducci.
Well, thanks, Ken. After getting hit hard by COVID-19, Freddie Freeman put up career-best numbers in batting average and slugging. He loves to swing at the first pitch, loves to hit in the big spots, and really loves the fastball, no matter how fast. The average big leaguer hit .242 against fastballs 95 and above. Freeman, and this is just ridiculous, hit .500, and that matters tonight, with hard-throwing Walker Buehler on the mound, the next to challenge the heart and soul of the Atlanta Braves. Joe?
And a nice moment for the Freeman family before tonight's game. There's a heart and soul right there for Freddie Freeman. We get set for baseball. Should be a fun series. 7 games if needed in 7 straight days. It's the NLCS. Coming up next on Fox.
Out to the crowd, now buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, but I don't care if I ever get back. Get ready for a good old-fashioned Texas showdown. Now the Braves are back on the NLCS range for the first time since 2001. Led by their stud MVP.
Rip the stitches right off of this thing. Freddie Freeman breaks hearts.
These young bulls can't be corralled.
If you're looking for firepower, you've come to the right place.
When they don't win, it's a shame. But this isn't the Dodgers' first rodeo. And while they've come up short in the past, they're hoping to find that elusive needle in the haystack.
Oh, the home run!
With an offense that can score runs till the cows come home. And a stable of arms. Don't put them out to pasture just yet. Now it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. Well, it's time to separate the wheat from the chaff. It's game 1 of the NLCS. Of the old ball game.
I mean, who among us hasn't done that? Separate the wheat from the chaff. It looks like the Braves are loose and ready to go. We're doing things Texas style. The home of the Texas Rangers in Arlington. And Walker Buehler is ready to go. And in walks Ronald Acuna. He'll be followed by Freddie Freeman. And then Marcell Ozuna. In the middle, it's Travis d'Arnaud, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Adam Duvall, Nick Markakis, and Austin Riley, the back end of the lineup for Brian Snitker. And the numbers for Walker Buehler. You see what he's done this postseason. He has gone 4 in his first 2 starts. And John, the old blister has been a problem this season.
Yeah, it has. They've been trying to protect him. And I'll tell you what's not a problem is velocity. And the ability to throw his fastball. He does not give up a lot of hits. And no team loves the velocity and the fastball more than the Braves. This is a great chess match game. And the hitter at the plate, Acuna, is one of those guys that has action right away. At some point in this series, if not the very first pitch, they're going to have to pitch Acuna in to get him out away.
The numbers that he's been able to compile, Ronald Acuna, are eye-popping, and he goes after that first pitch on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, skies it on the infield, caught by Hernandez, one away. Well, you know that part. Tonight's starting defense for the Dodgers, sponsored by AT&T Business. You know that Kike is at second base. In the outfield, it's Taylor, Bellinger, and Betts left to right. Around the infield, Turner, Seager, Kike, Hernandez, Max Muncy. Catcher is a good one. Young Will Smith and Walker Buehler on the mound. And as you said, the fastball, who cares about the blister? He lets it fly at 97, and that's strike one on Freddie Freeman. Clay Freeman to pull on the infield. That is strike number 2.
Well, the biggest thing that makes Buehler so tough, he has 4 different pitches he can go to. You see the cutter right there. That cutter usage might be affected by the blister. Overhand curveball, but the velocity goes both ways. 4-seam, 2-seam.
That's the first pitch other than a fastball so far, and it misses down and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes with Marcell Ozuna on deck, and there's the alignment on the infield for Freddie Freeman, who had a career year in many respects, albeit with a 60-game schedule. Hits one into right, and this one is gone. Freddie Freeman shoots one out to right. His family's excited, his dugout's excited, and the Braves strike first in the NLCS.
One of the best hitters with 2 strikes, one of the best hitters off of fastballs. Freddie Freeman doesn't give up much, no matter what the count is. Now the stadium roof is open. It's been open all week, and the ball to right field should travel, but it wouldn't have mattered what that wind was doing. As hard as he hit that ball, had to be over 100 miles an hour off the bat.
Batter now is Ozuna, and he goes up there pumping at the first pitch, fouls it away, strike one. If you want to hear a manager talk about a player in the most glowing terms, ask Brian Snitker about Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, he's had an MVP season. He struggled actually coming into this game postseason average. Well, he got off to a good start in the NLCS.
That's strike 2 on Ozuna. Talking to Snitker before the game, he said if you're going to give Freeman a day off, basically to protect him against himself getting run down, you have to start the process 2 days ahead of time. And just break it to him gently and let him know when he's going to be off. He just wants to play every day. Left side, backing up, tough pick. Good play, Turner. Good pick on the other end. Marcell Ozuna retired 5-3. Here's a home run.
I'm pretty sure they were trying to throw the ball up and in. That struggles a little bit, and the ball went down. You could see the target earlier was trying to get the ball up, but that unique swing by Freddie Freeman and choked up on the bat just absolutely hit a missile. It's the first mistake, and you could see the family super happy that Dad was able to put the Braves on the board.
These players are playing in front of fans for the first time in 2020. Over 11,000 in attendance here tonight. That's the limit. With about 10-5 in the seats, and then the rest up in suites. And instead of just playing for extra players and family, they now get to play for fans. As the count evens at a ball and a strike on the number 4 hitter, Travis d'Arnaud, who has had a career rejuvenation.
Absolutely. I don't know where the Braves would be without him. We talk about Freddie Freeman, Ozuna, and Acuna. The offense goes through them, but the stability behind the plate with both of these teams, Will Smith and d'Arnaud, 2 guys that will carry the bulk of the load and offensively contributing at a high level.
You saw the average 421 during this postseason, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. That just misses in the count 3-1.
Well, I mentioned for Walker Buehler, you're typically not going to string about 3 or 4 hits in an inning. You're going to have to take advantage of a walk and a homer like Freddie Freeman did, because he has been awfully stingy on giving up hits in his postseason career.
3-1 pitch is swung on and missed, a full count, and Darno checks with the home plate umpire Pat Hoberg to ask if that was a strike or if he chased. It's a full count. Went 6 for 10 in the 3-game sweep over the Marlins. That's down. And a 2-out walk.
Really the only bad game that Walker Buehler has had in his postseason career. It was one of the first ones against the Braves in Atlanta, where he lost the strike zone. Acuna hit that grand slam, and after that it really hasn't been a bad game. This season was cut short by his inning usage because of the blister and just the shutdown of the season and restart, but it didn't prevent him from being their opening starter in every series so far.
Switch hitter Ozzie Albies stands in, and he slaps it foul down the third baseline. Well, Buehler is just 26 years old. He's from Lexington. We talked to him 2 days ago, and while he's listed at 6'2", 185, he said, I'm really about 195. But with kind of the starting and stopping because of the blister, it has really slowed down him really getting that feel he typically needs to be effective. He's not a big guy, but generates a lot of power by using everything he's got, and to get it all lined up to bring the deliveries in the upper 90s. He's got to have everything primed and ready to go, and he's just still struggling to get there. 0-2, the count on Albies. Darno at first with 2 out and a run home. Another foul. So a run on the board for Max Fried, also 26 years old. And he'll get the ball in the bottom of this inning, and he too will be making his 3rd straight Game 1 start.
2 strikes. See if he elevates his fastball against Albies after throwing the breaking ball.
Another 0-2, and a ground ball into the teeth of the defense. Play is made out at first. That was Turner who made the play, and that was Freddie Freeman, who starts this NLCS with a shot to right. 1-0, Atlanta on top. To the game with America's largest 5G network. How do the Dodgers stack up for this Game 1 of the NLCS? They'll lead it off with that man, Mookie Betts, former AL MVP. Corey Seager bats second at short. Justin Turner hits third at third. Then in the middle, Max Muncy, Will Smith, Cody Bellinger, the DH A.J. Pollock, Kike Hernandez, and Chris Taylor. The bottom 3. 26-year-old left-hander and former draft pick of the San Diego Padres, Max Fried, is set to go. And he fires a strike at 94 to start the at-bat with Mookie Betts.
Well, this lineup has faced Max Fried. It's one of the few starting pitchers the Braves have that has some experience in the postseason. That's a big key for Max. Fastball command, and then he's got the curveball, slider, occasional 2-seam fastball, and really an occasional changeup.
Out in front is Betts and sends that into the Braves dugout. Braves score first in this one. They've scored first in all 6 postseason games they've played in. 29-6 when they score first. Regular season and postseason. That's the best mark in the National League. They scored on the Freeman home run. Here comes another 0-2 pitch to Mookie Betts. Ball. The impact of the acquisition of Mookie Betts and then the subsequent 12-year deal that he inked. It has been deep and thorough for this Dodger organization, this big league team. And Dave Roberts told us before the game he's made Dave Roberts a better manager by just watching the way he carries himself every day. Always locked in, always present, always trying to do something to make himself better. And yesterday when they were working out, he threw to each base, 15 throws to each base. He said you just don't see superstars do that.
No, he's going to win an MVP. There's no doubt about that in the National League, and he is the engine that gets this offense going.
That is strike 3 over the inside corner. Good pitch by Fried as he strikes out Betts.
Well, he painted 3 fastballs on the inside corner, and Mookie Betts really doesn't swing and miss much, less than 2% in his last 30 or so days, and this is just paint. He is so good in there, but early on, Max Fried established that fastball in. See how it plays for the rest of the game.
Batter is Seager. Corey Seager has had a fantastic season. Well, takes down and away, and while we've seen good velocity from Max Fried, his real out pitch, his best delivery is a curveball.
Yeah, it's a good breaking curveball. Nice spin. That's the slider version. Seager 0 for 3 in his career off of Max. But Corey Seager has had an MVP type season for the Dodgers. He's healthy, and he's been a monster at the plate all year. Seems like the ball is a beach ball in the regular season, the way that he swung it.
And he's just been hitting rockets. Comes up empty here. A 95-mile-an-hour fastball, strike 2. Exit velocity star in 2020. Lefty on lefty. They still play him to pull, and he takes a ball in the dirt. 2-2.
Well, the one thing this theme is going to be all series is the Los Angeles Dodgers as a team collectively are the stingiest in the strike zone, meaning they don't expand the strike zone. So they're going to try to make the Braves starter work really hard to get them in the strike zone. And if they do, that's where they do their best work.
2-2 pitch. Fooled him. Struck him out. And a good start for Fried so far. We'll deal with Turner with the bases empty. Tonight's defense for Atlanta, sponsored by AT&T Business. There's the outfield. Duvall, Acuna, and Markakis. Good outfield. They can cover a lot of ground with an infield of Riley, Swanson, Albies, and Freeman. The catcher is d'Arnaud. And the pitcher is the lefty Fried. The hitter is Justin Turner, who is now the Dodgers' all-time postseason hits leader with 64 hits.
Well, you know, he really is the equivalent to the Dodgers of what the Freddie Freeman is to the Braves. He's a right-handed version. Of course, he doesn't have the same kind of power, but discipline, hits with 2 strikes, an RBI machine, and just commands the attention of the pitcher. You've got to throw him 3 quality pitches.
Up on the count here, 2-0. When he signed that minor league deal with the Dodgers in 2014, he was kind of in that category of just a guy, and now he has been the man for the Dodgers in the postseason. You see where he ranks in all those categories in the rich history of the Dodgers organization. That's a strike, and a count 2-1. And it always comes with the disclaimer that they play more games these days than they did back in the day, and more games in the postseason in 2020 than ever. And that misses outside, the count 3-1.
Already you could see the influence of Turner's 3 for 4 career coming in off of Max Fried. And Max is going to watch the same kind of videos every pitcher does, trying to determine how the first at bat's going to go based on the success that you've had off of them.
That's a strike. d'Arnaud frames it, and the count full 3-2. So Fried is in a spot where he could strike out the side here in his first NLCS start. Instead, he gives up a base hit into right. And the first inning continues as Turner is on with his 65th Dodger postseason hit.
And a good sign for the Dodgers for Justin Turner. He has been a little bit slow to getting going in the postseason. Really, that last game is when the Dodger offense started to wake up. They won their first 4 games without hitting much, which is, I don't know how you look at that. That's a good sign if you're a Dodgers fan. A bad sign for the rest of the league that has got to try to calm their hitting down. But here's one guy right here, Max Muncy, who has struggled mightily during the year, but might be showing signs of getting out of it, according to his manager.
Hit 192 during the regular season, did hit 12 home runs. 3 for 16 so far in the postseason. On the outside corner for strike 1. Dodgers have won 8 straight NL West divisional titles. And they are in the LCS for the 4th time in the last 5 years.
Yeah, they've done a great job. They've dominated the National League, to be quite honest. And with some tough luck here or there, they could have a World Series ring or 2. And that's the elusive ring that they're trying to get. And never has there been more pressure on a club, especially with what we're dealing with in COVID-19, than this year for the Dodgers, and they have responded so far.
That's a strike, and now Muncy in the hole 1 and 2. Now the 1-2. 2 and 2. Oh. First inning, if there's an inning to get freed, that's where you jump him. An ERA in the first at 4.91. 160 ERA from the second inning on. That's the lowest in Major League Baseball. A 2-out hit by Turner, and now a 2-2 pitch to Max Muncy. Full count.
Yeah, you think about the timing of Max Fried's year for the Braves. They were loaded coming into the season. No one knew it wasn't going to be a 162-game season, but then they really got hit hard, like a lot of teams with some injuries in their starting rotation. Without Max Fried there for a while, I don't know if they win the division. That's how good he was, and of course his record shows it at 7-0.
Head start here for Turner with a 3-2 pitch to Muncy. 2 on with 2 out. A hit and a walk. Calling that last pitch ball 4 is home plate umpire Pat Holbert, with Jim Reynolds, a crew chief, at first. Corey Blazer at second. Dan Iasonia at third. Alan Porter in left. James Hoy is in right. And with the off night tonight, but working the plate tomorrow for game 2, is Will Little.
See, that's a perfect example of what the Dodgers lineup does. I believe at one point it was 1 and 2. He made Max Fried throw about 5 more pitches. Now he gets a walk, runner in scoring position, and the hottest hitter, based on the last game, Will Smith, getting 5 hits in his last game for the Dodgers.
Went 5 for 6 in game 3 of that sweep of San Diego. Takes a strike.
Yeah, he went from 0 for 11 in the postseason and hitting a lot of balls but not getting any results, to really having a nice postseason after 5 hits in a game will do it.
A young stud catcher, just 25 years old. Dodgers looking for a hit. And again, 2 quick strikes on the hitter. 0-2 on Will Smith.
So right away, going to the scouting report with the runner in scoring position. This is the pitch he struggles against. Curveballs and sliders. Will Smith will hit a fastball. And he has just really struggled against left-handed pitchers against those 2 pitches on the year and really in his career. So Max wasn't fooling around, went right to the money pitch right away.
All 8 of Smith's home runs this year off right-handed pitchers. Waits on it, fouls it. Hall of Famer Ted Simmons scouted this left-hander Max Fried in high school and what a team he was part of. We'll get into that as the situation dictates as we go deeper into the game. Ted Simmons said he had a major league curveball when he was pitching in high school. So he's been leaning on that since he was a young man. Oh-2, fought it off. They made him work. Struck out the first 2 hitters. Fried did, but it will take at least 28 pitches to get through this first inning. Struck him out. And Max Fried strikes out the side in the first inning, game 1 of the NLCS. 1-0 Atlanta on the Freeman home run. One to nothing Atlanta on the Freddie Freeman home run. Second inning, Dansby Swanson, Adam Duvall, Nick Markakis. Strike is into Dansby. These two know each other well from their days at Vandy. We'll have more on that. I'm just teasing so much information coming up later. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swanson 5 for 19 during the postseason, hit 10 home runs during the regular year. Here's a 1-1. Fouled back. Tonight's game is featured on the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. One of the questions was, how many strikeouts will Walker Buehler have tonight? The most popular answer among the Super 6 users was 6 or more. That is a check swing. He went around, and there is his first strikeout of the night.
Curveball, which Buehler really does a good job mixing up high fastballs with that curveball, and then when he goes low fastballs, he can throw that cutter and slider on a lower plane. Mr. Duvall has had a hard time picking up the ball in his 3 at-bats. 3 strikeouts against Buehler.
That is in for a strike. Duvall originally came up with San Francisco, then had some good years in Cincinnati, now with Atlanta. 16 home runs this year. He's added 1 in the postseason. Waits and takes as these Braves play in this stadium for the first time. They've gotten a feel for it over the last couple of days, but their manager Brian Snitker told us before the game, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes, because it played totally different in BP 2 days ago as opposed to yesterday when the roof was open. That's a pop-up. That is Muncy, and not enough room. And Duvall may have injured himself on that swing. Let's watch.
Ooh, you don't like to see that. That's an important part of any position out on the field, especially hitting or pitching. You're hoping it's just a cramp, but that's where the hitter uses his thrust and generates that power. By the reaction of it, it would be amazing if it was just a cramp.
Oblique, go back, who knows, but that was immediate.
You talked about the stadium for the first time. I mean, Houston compared to this is a bandbox. So it really is different when you think about all of the turf that has to get covered
defensively and offensively in this ballpark.
The ball's going to come out.
Baseball can be amazing. You take a ton of batting practice, you take a ton of swings, and it just takes one swing. Don't know why, but the awkwardness, and grabbed him at the wrong time.
And that's a big piece of the puzzle for the Braves. And we will wait and see who takes his spot. It's Pache.
Wow, the youngster. I mean, this is high on the prospect list for the Atlanta Braves.
Christian Pache will come off the bench, and
welcome to the big leagues in the postseason.
So before he steps in with a count of 1-2, Pache will have a moment to get loose. We'll check in with Tom Verducci on the blister situation with Walker Buehler.
Yeah, Joe, I watched his bullpen on Saturday, and he had 2 fingers bandaged, the index finger, which we knew about, and his middle finger. And he told me he has a blister issue with both fingers. Now, he throws that spike curveball, so the curveball comes off the middle finger, and that's been causing an issue. The cutter and slider are thrown with both the index finger and the middle finger. So anytime he wants to spin the ball, there have been issues. Last start against San Diego, season high 74% fastballs. That's the one pitch that does not cause any problems. But tonight, guys, he came out of the chute 50-50 mix. Fastballs, non-fastballs, a good sign for the Dodgers. Dave Roberts told me he does not have someone ready in the first inning. He expects 6 from Walker, because the blister is in better shape this time than it was against San Diego.
Buehler misses there, and now a 2-2 count. Christian Pache takes up and in, and if he wasn't awake prior to that last pitch, he is now full count.
Yeah, the blisters for pitchers are, you know, they seem like a sissy injury when somebody goes, what's the big deal? It's the most important thing you can have is your fingers being fresh. And it affects the touch, it affects the spin, and there's the friction that goes on in your delivery when you let go of a ball, and you realize how much, if that gets hot, like a lot of pitches in one inning, not great for blisters. So being economical is huge, but then staying away from that pitch that Tom talked about as much as you can to when only you need it.
3-2 pitch is fouled back. And that really falls in line more with what you thought, where the blister typically happens on the middle finger as opposed to the index finger. So he's got both fingers covered now. 1 out, bases empty. Pache at the plate, in place of the injured Duvall, and that is ball 4. Second walk handed out by Buehler.
People don't understand how impossible of a situation that young man walked into, and he gets credit for the walk. He wouldn't have got credit for the strikeout or because of the count, but that's you got to tip your hat to him.
And now Markakis. Nick has been at it for a long time. And among active players, nobody's played in more games, regular and postseason, without getting to the Fall Classic as he takes a strike. It's in his second LCS, was with the Orioles back in 2014. Takes a strike from Buehler to start the at-bat.
He's known as the professional hitter. You don't hear that too often anymore, but he flat out knows how to hit, and he's been doing it for a long time. Down year by his standards. You know, he opted out, then opted back in. But he's going to give you that at bat that you can count on more times than not. He's going to make contact.
Pache is a guy who will run if he finds the right spot. The hitter now, Markakis, in the hole, 0-2. Now the shift happens on the infield with Turner going basically into the hole at second base.
Hernandez more up the middle. Seager all alone on the left side, and that bounces in, and a strikeout for out number 2.
For his size, Walker Buehler can hit you with velocity and spin as good as anybody. He's got such a clean delivery. Velocity has increased as he got into the big leagues, and classic delivery finishes in a pretty good spot.
Well, number 9 man is the young third baseman Austin Riley, 23 years old, hit 18 home runs last year in 80 games, hit 8 this year while hitting .239, 4 for 17, no RBIs this postseason. That gets away from the catcher Smith, and down to second is the runner Pache. And we'll see how that scored. They call it a wild pitch. So the RBI opportunity for Riley. Pache at second, and a pop-up back and out of play. 2 balls and a strike.
Riley came on the scene on fire, hit home runs in 8 of, I think, his first 18 games, and went through a stretch like every young player that's not named Trout usually goes through. Get exposed, a lot of swing and miss, but this year was given the opportunity to play every day for the most part with the departure of Donaldson, and the future is bright for this young man. A lot of power, really underrated defensively at third base.
Tried to check it, went around. That's strike 2. While the Dodgers have won 8 straight division titles, the Braves have won 3 in a row. But this is the best of the recent versions for the Atlanta Braves. A lot deeper, a lot more veteran. They lead 1-0 after an inning and a half this postseason. Fox Sports, along with Samsung Galaxy 5G, give fans an immersive viewing experience like never before. Here's Kevin Burkhardt with more. By Camping World. Beautiful night in Arlington, Texas. The roof is open. And this year during the NLCS, every time a batter hits a home run that directly hits the Hit It Here sign, a fan will win a new RV from Camping World. For rules and how to enter, visit campingworld.com/NLCS. A reshuffle in the outfield for the Atlanta Braves after the injury on the swing by Duvall. Nick Markakis goes from right to left. Pache is in center, and Acuna is in right. This is a rocket to the right side. Albies makes the diving stop and gets the out as Bellinger robbed of a hit on a beautiful play by Ozzie Albies.
Yeah, this team and the Dodgers both. There's not really a lot of weaknesses, and Bellinger hits this ball. He's got great speed. But both the Braves and the Dodgers can flash their D. They can run. They can hit for power. It really is about as evenly matched player for player when you think about what the kind of years they've had. But speaking of kind of years that someone's had, wow, did the power numbers come for A.J. Pollock this year.
16 home runs, tied for 3rd. Takes outside, ball 1.
You know, one of the things everyone talks about, if this guy could stay healthy, what could he do? He's a great player, but has been really hampered by a lot of freakish injuries and injuries that keep him from playing the kind of games that he hopes to. And now this year he's been healthy, and you see what he's been able to do with the power.
Fakes outside again, 2-0. Pitch number 34 on the way, and that's grounded up the middle, a base hit. 1 on, 1 out for the Dodgers here in the second. And we'll send it down to Ken Rosenthal as the Dodgers have made Fried work so far here early.
They have, Joe, and that is their entire plan. The 7-game in 7-day format gives them an advantage because they believe that their pitcher is deeper. Now, where do the Braves go from here? Well, Ian Anderson tomorrow. Then Kyle Wright in Game 3, 2 youngsters. Game 4, likely a bullpen game, and Game 5 could be a bullpen game too, unless they bring Fried back on 3 days rest. So the Dodgers believe that there is an immense trickle-down effect if they can get into that Braves bullpen early and make their relievers work.
Yeah, you can't go back to the top 2 starters if you want to give them full rest until potential Game 6 and 7. And it's something, John, you talked about in the open as Kike Hernandez takes a strike.
Yeah, it's going to be a tremendous chess match of patience. And look, the patience for the Dodgers is a lot easier because of the weapons you have. And asked each manager, you know, what is the game plan when you've never played 7 days potentially in seven games in 7 days? They said it's very difficult to not chase the win.
That is fouled out of play right side, strike 2.
And what they meant by that is, you know, in a close game, how much do you trust your whole staff, your relievers? Because if you chase the win and lose with your upper tier guys, you start burning those out for the longer run that's going to take in a series. So it really is going to be a chess match of challenge, of patience, and seeing whose team can stay closer to the formula for success long term, because that will be for the Braves. Obviously, a shorter series and cleaner games would be to their advantage.
0-2 pitch is fouled back. First start of this postseason for Kike Hernandez, who's 0 for 5 so far. Trying to follow that hit by Pollock into right center field with something in front of Chris Taylor, who's in the number 9 spot.
Against left-handers, you have to make Kike Hernandez hit the ball, chase the ball up or chase the ball down. Elevate your fastballs or back foot curveballs.
Spoil that pitch.
If you leave it over the middle, he too has the power. 6 home runs in the postseason.
Fried struck out the side in the first inning, but you saw that note. Highest pitch count of any first inning this season for Max. Give up a 2-out single and then a walk. 1 on, 1 out here in the 0-2 pitch. Out in front of it, Hernandez strikes out. 2 out in the inning. Strikeout number 4 for Max Fried.
Yeah, great breaking ball. See how it comes out of his hand. See the tight spin. Starts high enough for a strike, but there's the down and back foot breaking ball that he swings over the top. Look, these Los Angeles Dodgers we mentioned have been dominating for a while, but this is a different Dodgers team. It's not really a platoon scenario anymore. It is a lineup that you can throw out there every day. It helps to get Mookie Betts, but they just let that lineup do their talking for the majority of the year.
Fried brings it, misses inside to Taylor, who has been a co-MVP in the NLCS. It happened in 2017. Shared it with Justin Turner. And he has hit well against Braves pitching. 22 games at .338 average. The definition of a versatile ball player. Can play pretty much anywhere defensively and can really hit anywhere in a lineup.
Yeah, and Dave Roberts loves his approach. He's changed his swing, much like Max Muncy, to change their careers, and the swing plane is basically the same on every pitch. I've never seen, well, you see more of it in the game today, trying to get the ball in the air, of course.
2-0 pitch inside again.
3-0. So again, even though the Braves had the lead in the first inning, 28 pitches to 18 for Fried versus Buehler. And again, with 2 outs, that pitch count is being added up when he hasn't been able to throw strikes to get that clean inning.
Here is a 3-0, and that's 4 in a row out of the strike zone, all into the right-handed hitting Taylor. 2 on, 2 out. And one of the game's best players, Mookie Betts, walking to the plate.
Now we finally have fans here, and thankfully we can say that, but it's not the raucous crowd that would be at home. This is the stress kind of pitches that it adds up in a postseason game. It would not be this way in a regular season game, but when you have 2 outs, runners on, and the leadoff hitter, Mookie Betts, is up, now you're grinding, and you're grinding in the second inning, and you want to limit those, no matter if you're a veteran or a rookie pitcher, to as few as you can muster up, because they catch up to you quickly.
Betts with a big chance here. First-year Dodger. Will be a Dodger for a long time to come. Takes a strike.
I always felt the postseason was like pitching in Colorado. It's hard to get your breath in Colorado, and it's hard to get 3 outs in Colorado clean for different reasons. And you get to the postseason and you find yourself doing the same thing, exerting more energy and, of course, more adrenaline rushing through your body.
Betts hits one in the air to center. Pache is back to grab it. And Fried strands 2 more. Freddie Freeman up second in the 3rd inning. Went deep in the 1st. That's the only run so far in game 1. First pitch of the 3rd inning is a fastball. It zips in there to Ronald Acuna Jr. for strike 1. It's Acuna, then Freeman, then Marcell Ozuna. Braves on top 1-0. 0-1 from Buehler, rides upstairs at 96, a ball and a strike. Brian Snitker, who is the manager of the Atlanta Braves, nice enough to join us from the dugout. Well, I keep reading about how the ball doesn't carry here. I think that ball Freeman hit in the 1st inning carried just fine.
Yeah, it did. He hit the man. Did he ever hit that ball good, too? So I think when you hit him like that, doesn't matter where you're playing.
I would say that's probably the case. And I guess as we look at Acuna dealing with Buehler, I'll ask you about your starter, Max Fried. 2 shutout innings, but the pitch count, I'm sure, is a little higher than you'd like.
Yeah, it is. That's the first thing I looked at last inning. And you know, it is what it is. These guys are patient. We knew that coming in. They don't chase, and so consequently that usually leads to high pitch counts. So hopefully we'll just get out of him what we can.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Acuna, who went after the first pitch, popped it up his first time, and now he goes around for strikeout number 4 for Buehler. What happened with Adam Duvall? That seemed like that was rather serious.
Yeah, it was. He is an oblique. It wasn't good. I haven't talked to the trainers, but those things aren't ever good, and I think he did it pretty good too. So yeah. I hate it for him.
And we get a chance to see Pache play with. Hey, baseball's a funny game. You never know when a kid gets a chance. You just don't know.
You just don't know. And he's a talented young man. Again, I said it was a shame we didn't have a minor league season this year, but you know, he's got skills. That plays up here, and we'll see. You never know. I said Andrew came up here and hit a couple of homers at 19. Nobody knew who he was, so you never know.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
All right. My pleasure, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate the time and the visit. Freeman homered his first time, and that one skips in there from Buehler. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, much like any pitcher, Buehler, when he gets on a roll, it'll be a hitter's nightmare if he can connect those 3 dots, meaning the quadrants of his fastball and then the breaking ball, change of speed and location. You got to get ready for 98. Freddie obviously as good as anybody on velocity.
There's a fastball poured in at 98.
And see what that does right there. The height of that fastball brings in the breaking ball if he wants it on that side of the plate. And it would be hard, as good as Freddie is, to lay off that pitch if he wanted to go right back there with that breaking ball.
2-2 pitch. Inside, full count.
He went with the cutter.
(3-2) to Freeman. Is down and in. Third walk handed out by Buehler. His last 4 outs have come via the strikeout.
With the blister situation, I really think the cutter, and you can see him really trying to bury it inside. That cutter can be affected as well when you have the blister. And Buehler just didn't have enough innings this year for a variety of reasons, and probably it led to some of those blister issues because you got to toughen up your fingers. That's what spring training does. Every pitcher wants some calluses so they don't run into that issue.
Here's Ozuna. He takes a strike. It was interesting when we talked to Walker Buehler. You've heard forever in baseball, make them hit their way on, and yet Buehler told us he would rather walk a guy than give up a hit. He thinks, you know, if I give up a hit, it starts momentum. If I give up a walk, it's kind of stagnant. The guy goes down to first base and you pick up with the next guy.
Well, you know what? He might be right in the style of hitting and the philosophy of today's hitters. Because in that theory, they're more station to station. You give up a walk, they're not stealing to second. You do more swing and misses in hitters than ever before, but also more homers. So he's playing to his strength, knowing that it's not going to be chaos on the bases. Now, if he puts Acuna on with a walk, it's going to be chaos. Or maybe even Albies could be the same kind of chaos on the bases. But 3 true outcome baseball, he's probably pitching right to it.
Here's a foul out of play. The count will stay 0-2 on Marcell Ozuna, who signed a 1-year deal. A couple years with the Cardinals, and they were decent. This year with the Atlanta Braves has been phenomenal.
Yeah, he bet on himself and he won. He had a monster year, and again, the evaluation process for a lot of organizations is going to be difficult because of a much shorter season and a lot more things to take into consideration.
Good block here by the young catcher Smith.
But you mentioned that philosophy that Buehler had. He was a pitch or two away in that San Diego game from dramatically changing that series. He was down 1-0, 3-0. Bases loaded, 1 out, and then was able to strike out the next 2 hitters. So he got out of that jam, similar to the game I was talking about against the Braves in the postseason when he couldn't get out of it.
That is in and out of the glove of Muncy, and instead of getting the lead runner, he goes to the bag, 2 down. Was thinking about turning 2 and instead gets the out at first. Down to second is Freeman, 2 out for d'Arnaud.
That was hit rather firmly. Muncy, who can play multiple positions, that ball gets on him quick. You see he had visions of going to second, turn 2, but the ball didn't quite get in the webbing of the glove. Skipped more than it came up.
So the RBI chance for d'Arnaud. In his early 30s, now 31. Longtime New York Met. He takes outside, maybe down. Ball 1. Biggest hitting star this postseason for the Braves is at the plate for 5 days. d'Arnaud was an LA Dodger. That's on the corner. Good pitch. 1-1. d'Arnaud was let go by the Mets in May of 2019. Came to the Dodgers for 5 days. They traded him to Tampa Bay. Started getting his swing back. He's hit 27 home runs since. 147 games played. And a really good catcher. Pops it up. Shallow right. And calling for it is Betts. And that will do it for the first 2.5. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Dodgers coming up down 1.
Still 1-0, bottom of the third inning. Dodgers with their 2, 3, and 4 hitters. See the pitch count, how it is up. 45 after 2 innings. Corey Seager first up, and a swinging strike. That's the first time the Dodgers have swung at the first pitch tonight. So that is what we heard from Brian Snitker. Obviously the approach against Fried, get the pitch count up, get into the middle part of the bullpen. Good pitch there. Strike 2 on Seager.
Unique styles of pitching. Both pitchers pitch off the opposite side of the rubber and are opposite arms, meaning they're trying to create leverage. For Max Fried, he wants glove side command. That's away right there or into a right-hander, and Buehler is going to pitch off the first base side of the rubber, and he wants to create that leverage on the opposite side of the plate. What's unique about where they both pitch is they both land in the same spot, which you don't see very often. What means Buehler throws across his body a little bit.
So they're digging the same hole. That is strike 3 over the inside part, and strikeout number 5 for Max Fried. He's gotten Seager twice.
Max Fried has really good touch early in this game, and the touch I'm talking about, the finesse pitch is under the gun. It's a little bit easier to let it eat with your fastball, but he's had good command and he's had good touch with those pitches. Even if that ball hung a little bit, you could see Seager was kind of buckled by the break.
That brings in Turner, singled through the right side his first time up. 1 of 2 hits for the Dodgers so far. Strike 1. "51 innings turned in by Atlanta pitching so far this postseason. In 48 of the 51 innings, the Atlanta pitchers have put up a 0.
And nothing is going to be more amazing than Game 1 against the Cincinnati Reds. They had 6 chances to lose that game. What I mean by is the Reds had action all over that game, and the Braves bullpen and starters were immaculate. That game goes extra innings. They win that game, they win the next game, and they haven't lost since.
Again, Turner hits it to the right side. This time Albies makes the play to his left. A couple of steps, 2 out. And what Max Fried would give for a 1-2-3 third inning, he's got Max Muncy standing in his way. The Braves pitching this postseason. You can look at the historic start, and I'll go through those numbers in a moment. The 4 shutouts in the first 5 games, second time in postseason history. The other time, the 1905 New York Giants to do it. But when you go back through the record books, those are World Series games. So far, the Atlanta Braves have played the Cincinnati Reds, who were 27th in runs scored, the Miami Marlins 21st. The 2 teams won a combined 64 and 63. So this will be their stiffest test, but no matter who the opposition has been, for a rather young and reconfigured starting rotation, comparing it to how the Braves thought they would stack up at the start of the season, it's been impressive.
It really has. I mean, they've executed their game plan, and they have exposed the weaknesses of their opposite offense. This will be a great challenge for the Atlanta Braves, because this offense is as good as anybody's I've seen in baseball. It really is one of the most complete teams in baseball. It's why the Dodgers probably would have been on a historic 162 game schedule. They, of course, had the best winning percentage in the 60 game schedule.
Breaking ball, that good curve. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Muncy.
But Ian Anderson, I don't know how many people expected him to do what he did this regular season, because he had to. As we look at this breaking ball, he didn't have any experience in the postseason. Hasn't bothered him. Kyle Wright didn't have any experience and didn't have much success going into this year, and he's been dominant the last 3 or 4 starts.
Strikeout, and it is the first 1-2-3 inning of the night for either side. 4th inning now, game 1.
on the strength of a Freddie Freeman home run in the left arm of Max Fried. 1-0. Atlanta. It's in Texas, middle innings now. Fourth rolls around. Still a 1-0 game as Ozzie Albies leads it off and takes down with ball one. Our October best friend, Dave Roberts, is on headset down in the dugout joining us live. Dave, what do you see so far from Walker Buehler?
I see a good arm stroke, good delivery. He's mixing really well, and he made the one mistake to Freddie. He tried to go up and in with 2 strikes and left it middle. So, but outside of that, I think he's making pitches. I like the fastball, changing locations, and the breaking ball is pretty sharp tonight.
2-0 the count. Albies grounded out his first time and comes up empty here.
Dave, I've been so impressed with you guys, and you talked earlier about the message you had under the circumstances that everyone's dealing with. I don't want to hear anybody complain. You had a lot of pressure on you. Your team has responded. Why so?
You know what? I think that just messaging Smoltz to our guys that we've earned this bullseye, and I think that how teams prepare for us and want to knock us off and whatever, or pressure, whatever people want to frame it as, we've earned that. And I think that as far as kind of focusing on playing baseball games and eliminating the noise, to a man, guys have done that all year long.
3 balls and a strike here on Albies, and that's hooked down the line, foul. A full count. On the other side of the ball, obvious what you guys are trying to do, and that is get the pitch count up. I think only one hitter, it was Seager, has swung at the first pitch, and so far so good in that category.
I think so. I think we're taking good at bats, and we're using the big part of the field, and it's pretty apparent that you know, Freddie's going to try to spin us. I think he's probably 60% breaking balls this year. So we got so far this game. So we got to still be stubborn in our strike zone and you know, try to win 90 feet.
We will let you go after I ask you this. What kind of feel do you get playing in front of fans for the first time down there? You know, it's a little different, but is there the atmosphere at all?
It is. You know what? You feel that buzz. I mean, just seeing actual live bodies out there, it's good. I think we're supposed to be at home, but I think that the fan base is partial to the Braves, but they're still live bodies. This is a good thing for baseball.
Dave, thanks.
All right, guys.
Dave Roberts, who has just been nothing but terrific to us and nothing but terrific in the dugout for the Dodgers. 5th year, 4th LCS over those 5 years, and they got a good thing going with the LA Dodgers.
I'm telling you, it's easy to win when you're not supposed to. It's much harder to keep doing what the Los Angeles Dodgers have done, and I give him a lot of credit every year getting his team ready.
They've had heartbreak. They've had reason to complain, certainly. Losing in 7 games in 2017 to the Astros, losing in 5 to the Red Sox the following year. This time of year, we are used to seeing the Dodgers playing baseball.
When you get to the other side, and they will, they're going to win a championship, you know, obviously in the near future, if not this year.
What a good piece of work by Buehler. Long at bat, Buehler wins that battle with Albies, and strikeout number 5. Last 8 seasons for the Dodgers have won the division, 3rd longest streak in MLB history. The record overall is the best in the major leagues. 2 National League pennants. They have yet to win it all, and they have lost 3 times in the division series, including last year to the Nationals, the eventual world champs. There's a strike as the mitt of Will Smith pops.
That is just poetry, delivery, and just ball just flies out of his hand and stays and holds plane. But you know, it's similar, Joe. I think about the journey that I was on, and in 1995 we were looking at our 3rd World Series loss. They added an extra playoff spot. That was the wild card. It got even harder. We were able to win, and it made that journey even sweeter. It's similar to what the Dodgers are dealing with right now. I mean, COVID by itself, nobody's ever been through something like this. 60-game season. People are going to talk about the champion in whatever way they want to. I say it'll be the hardest World Series championship any team has won. And even though that's talking about 60 games, so there's no asterisks for me on any of this, whoever is crowned champion.
I couldn't agree more. I read a quote from Terry Francona along those lines early. and he was on it from the beginning. And it's good to hear that he's going to come back into the dugout.
Yeah.
That's the plan next year for one of baseball's best guys, Terry Francona. But he said, I can make the case that whoever wins it this year, 60 games, who cares? They will have jumped through more hoops and been through more than any other world champion in the history of the game because of all the protocols and everything that these players have gone through to try and avoid the virus, stay healthy, and concentrate on playing baseball.
Absolutely. And we're just talking about the sport of baseball, right? Life has so many more adjustments, and I'm just talking about the adjustments players have had to make for the first time in dealing with their sport.
That's a 1-out walk to Dansby Swanson. So 5 strikeouts, now 4 walks, and a run on just the 1 hit, the home run by Freeman. 2020 MLB postseason continues tomorrow. Game 3 of this series between Game 2 of this series between the Braves and the Dodgers. Coverage begins at 5 Eastern on FS1. Then Game 3 of the ALCS at 8:30 Eastern over on TBS. So Game 2 tomorrow here, Game 3 there, and the Tampa Bay Rays 2 games to nothing. And man, is Kevin Cash just a master at manipulating that roster, and it's never the same game after game after game. It's a different hero, it's a different formula, a parade coming out of the bullpen, but boy, they are just so good and so dangerous top to bottom.
Yeah, they live in the close lane, not the fast lane. They like playing 2-1, 1-0. They can do it all, and the Astros have been battling, had some runners on to make some things happen, but Rays got it done. 2-0 so far.
Pache at the plate took over for Adam Duvall, and without Duvall, who had and it's official with the oblique strain, and he had to exit during his first plate appearance 2 innings ago. That is a big power loss down deep in the lineup for Atlanta. 1 ball, 1 strike on Pache. Only a couple of games in the big leagues this year for Pache. Last year, split time between Mississippi and Gwinnett. Hit 12 home runs total. Stole 8 bases, takes down and away. And the count in his favor now, 2-1.
Every once in a while, Buehler gets a little quick downward to the plate, which means that he misses down. He pulls that cutter, and the fastball's pulled down. If he can stay back like every pitcher wants to do, but be quick at the same time, that's the goal.
Runner is going. That Swanson throw down is not in time. Smith did everything he could, delivered a strike, but the stolen base by Swanson. He's at second base with 1 down.
And the Braves are going to have to be opportunistic in these stolen bases. High leg kick, you mentioned it. Smith threw it right on the money. But the Braves early on have put some pressure on Buehler with runners in scoring position.
From the right hand to the left hand on the bag, and the tag applied late by Hernandez. Meanwhile, the count's gone to 3-1 on Pache. Went around, good pitch from Buehler. Wrinkle on the end of it, and a full count.
That was evidence of a young player right there. A little out of his element there. 3-1, trying to locate a fastball, and it was nowhere close. A cutter.
He's from the Dominican Republic, still just 21 years old. Signed by the Braves in July of 15. That is down, and that's the second walk that he has picked up. 5 walks now by Buehler, 2 on 1 out. And Markakis coming up, and a visit from the pitching coach, Mark Pryor.
It's a good visit right here. He'll ask him his question about his finger and just remind him of some of the mechanical things to be successful.
here is opportunity for Atlanta with Markakis. Back-to-back walks, 1 out. Albies struck out to start the inning. Markakis struck out back in the second. A strike. Smith hops up, looks down at the runner at second. 0-1.
A little surprising in that first at bat where Buehler overmatched Markakis. You won't see that very often. Markakis, good low fastball hitter, so up in the zone, not a strength. But he struck out on that curveball that bounced almost in front of the plate.
36 years old is Markakis. 6th year with the Atlanta Braves. A 1 pitch is upstairs. Victor Gonzalez, the left-hander, is getting ready and letting it fly down there in the bullpen. One pitch here. Late swing and a foul, strike 2. 98.
That looked like Markakis got caught in between, meaning he was probably sitting off speed and fought off the fastball away. This ball was almost by him by the time he just flicked at it.
Good speed on for Atlanta. Swanson and Pache. That is right down the middle. Struck him out, and strikeout number 6 for Walker Buehler. 2 out in the inning. That'll bring in Austin Riley. We've done October like this before, and that means anything can happen. MLB has you covered on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll see what the young third baseman can do. 4 for 18 this postseason, looking for his first RBI.
I wouldn't think he's going to get too many fastballs in this at bat if Buehler still has the feeling he could throw his breaking balls.
Missing there with ball 1.
Riley hunts the fastballs. 11 home runs. He does have 6 home runs in his career off of sliders. But he's made a nice adjustment. He had that big hole on breaking balls earlier last year. Closed it up a little.
Hits one in the air to center, got under it a bit. Bellinger ends the inning. Buehler walks 2. Braves have left 5. Bottom of the 4th inning. Dodgers coming up, down by 1. Yes, presented by Camping World. Bottom of the 4th inning, game 1. 1-0. Braves on top. Will Smith flies one into right. Acuna there for out number 1. Well, just next door here in Arlington, Texas, the home of the Dallas Cowboys, and all of us at Fox Sports want to send our very best to Dak Prescott. Just absolutely as good a guy as you can meet in professional sports, beloved by the fan base here. He is the face of the franchise. That good, exciting offense that the Cowboys have, and one of the young, bright faces of the league. That gruesome injury yesterday, as Stephen Jones said, Dak Prescott will come back even better from this. I would never bet against Dak Prescott.
Yeah, that was horrible. I got a chance to go over and check out the game in person, and that just makes your stomach sick.
Just a pall over this city, and dominating the news last night, first part of today. So get well, Dak.
NFL need you. 0-2 pitch. A foul ball that caught the home plate umpire, Pat Hoberg.
Right now, both pitchers have absolutely been grinding in a different way. They've been getting it done. Max has been outstanding with his breaking balls. You see the line score on each of them. Walker, a little bit more of a lack of control, but getting it done with his fastball. 5 walks. That's uncharacteristic. And against this Dodger team, you're going to have to take care of the left-handers because they can do some damage. And so far, he's been really good.
Cody Bellinger grounded out his first time. Takes outside here. Ball 1. That was pitch number 62.
What a year Bellinger had last year. Of course, this year not quite so. I mean, 60 games, hard to duplicate what he did over 162.
Set up here at 1-2 and is able to fight it off. Tom, what are you seeing with the curveball of Fried so far tonight?
Yeah, it's way better than it was in his last start. He's thrown 19 curveballs. He landed 13 of those for strikes. The last time out, just 7 of 17. But I like John's point about his feel on both breaking pitches, the uniqueness of slider and curveball, the ability to throw both, and the slow down and speed up these Dodger bats.
His 1-2 pitch is fouled out of play left side.
And see, that's where Bellinger, he's getting a little bit better, but the harder you throw and the higher you throw in there almost speeds up his already vicious swing. He struggles. He's so close to the plate, and he hasn't really adjusted off of that. He's waiting for that pitcher to make a mistake. If you elevate a little bit higher, he's not getting to this ball. If you leave the ball belt to knee, he can get to it. He's athletic enough, young enough to have that kind of grip it and rip it swing. Long swing, but powerful when he makes contact.
Pop up, foul ground, and Darno is out of room.
Right there, that was the one few mistakes that Max Fried has made. Bellinger hit a home run on a breaking ball similar to that, but it was more over the middle of the plate. This one is not supposed to be there. Look where it's set up and look where it ends up. He's lucky that the timing of this at bat, he has messed up with Bellinger and the way that he's pitched, because that can't keep happening if you're going to get Bellinger to make an out.
Cody, 39 of his 128 home runs that he's hit since he just burst onto the scene in 2017 have come against left-handed pitching, which is number 1 among left-handed batters. In that time, he strikes out here.
See where that pitch was up, even though he didn't, again, the slider, he wasn't trying to get it there. It ended up there. That pitch above his hands, because of his style of hitting, and just almost impossible for him to get the barrel of the bat to it. Again, now this ball's supposed to break. It doesn't. It backs up. It almost works as a fastball that you intended to throw up and in. And he just ended up striking him out.
Strikeout number 7, 2 out, nobody on for A.J. Pollock. Singled his first time. Ball 1. AJ turns 33 in December. Originally came up with Arizona. Second year in LA, and as John said, has just had a tough time staying healthy, but when he's healthy, he is really good. 2-0 the count.
He has enjoyed hitting off of left-handers this year. 345 to 247, almost 100 points difference.
Shoots one into center. Pache is there to end the inning, and back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for Max Fried. Braves are smiling so far, up 1-0 after 4 in game 1. Back after a word from your local Fox station.
1 in 5 kids in the U.S. may not be able to afford to play Little League next season. Every time you text Little League to 313131, T-Mobile will donate $1 to their Little League call-up grant program so our kids can keep playing ball. What a great program by T-Mobile. 2 quick strikes on Ronald Acuna, starting the 5th. The Braves leading 1-0 on the pitching of Max Fried in the 1 hit they have tonight that left the park. 1-2. Just off the edge. 2-2.
Yeah, that's a great pitch. You know, Fred Acuna likes to set the tone, right? Lead off home runs. The 4-seam fastball actually has beat him more this year than the 2-seamer. He's had a lot more success off a 2-seam fastball.
Now down, a bit in, a full count.
But one thing he does is draw a high walk rate. And when he draws walks, he usually ends up at second base, or at least the threat of stealing a base.
That's on the corner. Strikeout number 7 for Buehler. And that will bring in Freddie Freeman.
I see you, Freddie.
MV free.
Hitting home runs is wrong. I don't want to be right.
Atlanta Braves fans say, if loving you, Freddie, is wrong, I don't want to be right. He had the distinction of being the best player on a struggling big league team, which carries with it some stress. Now everybody is kind of caught up to him, and he's a piece of the puzzle, and he's a big piece. Grounds to the right side. Got him, and it took a fantastic play from Seager to make it happen. 2 down.
For a big guy, Freddie can long stride you down to first quicker than you think. And for another big guy, Corey Seager can field his position, even though that wasn't his primary position because he was in the shift.
Two down. We'll bring in Marcelo Zuna, who hit a sharp ground ball to the right side, right at Muncy. He's grounded out twice, and he comes up empty here.
Sometimes pitchers can be effectively wild, and that could keep the hitters off balance. I would say that Walker Buehler has been effectively wild, and he has lived a little bit on a tightrope, but has done a nice job.
That is hit on a line to Turner on pitch number 94 of the night. One off his season high. He's been good. Buehler. Fried has been even better. 1-0 ball game in game 1. Atlanta on top. To celebrate 8 cars to veterans in need with their Keys to Progress program. Bottom of the 5th inning rolls in. Authentic caps, tees, jerseys, hoodies, and more. Get all your postseason gear and cheer on your team at home with the official source, MLBshop.com. First up, Kike Hernandez for the Dodgers. Down by a run, takes a strike.
The key to any successful postseason start usually starts with getting the leadoff hitter off the bases, and both starters tonight have done a great job of doing that. The stress they've had has come with 2 outs with runners in scoring position.
Yep, leadoff hitters tonight hitless. Kike Hernandez struck out his first time up. One of 7 strikeouts for the 26-year-old left-hander. I mean, it has just been a pitching clinic by the Atlanta Braves. 0-2 pitch. Hernandez hits it in the air to left. Back at the wall. It is gone. The game is tied.
That's called making your first start of this postseason count with a blast by the Dodgers second baseman.
Well, that's what he can do. He got a hanging breaking ball, and now his 7th postseason home run. A big one, tying up the game, firing up his dugout.
Brings in Taylor. Strike 1. Hernandez part of this versatile, and I mean versatile, roster of 28 that Dave Roberts has to play with. And as you said, John, they've in years past and postseasons past, they've mixed and matched and moved guys all over the place. They're more set now. But Kike Hernandez, that was the right string pulled against Max Fried tonight. Here's Taylor grounding to short. 1 away, and we take another look at the home run by Hernandez.
Yeah, the last couple breaking balls he's gotten away with earlier. This one he did not. And, you know, that could be a sign, a little bit of fatigue, but he just didn't locate the breaking ball in that situation with 2 strikes. And the Dodgers, they have a new symbol of when somebody doesn't barrel up a ball. We haven't seen it yet tonight, but you'll see what they do when they believe barrels are overrated, meaning get a hit any way you can.
Down.
That one wasn't one of them because he hit it over.
Oh, that was barreled. And a blast by Hernandez. 1-1 ball game. 1-0 the count on Betts, who's 0 for 2. Flied out with 2 on and 2 out his last time up. Struck out his first time up on the count here, 2-0.
Betts so quick with his hands, inner third if you make a mistake.
That catches the corner, 2-1. 12-year deal signed by Betts, just turned 28. The AL MVP from 2018. A world champ with the Red Sox. Grounds 1 up the middle. Albies charges, gloves, gets him, 2 down. Let's send it down to Tom Verducci.
What a rarity that was to see Max Fried give up that home run on that hanging curveball. Last time he gave up a home run off his hook was September of 2019. 328 consecutive curveballs that have stayed in the park. Not that one. Tried to triple up to Kike Hernandez. Last time it happened, September 10th, 2019. That was another hanger that Bryce Harper took care of. Joe, you mentioned Max has always had that curveball. His father was a big fan of Sandy Koufax. In fact, Max did an elementary school report on Sandy Koufax. He obviously got an A, but it was kind of his idol growing up. When he got to high school, he asked for number 32 to honor Sandy Koufax, and actually got to meet Sandy in the 2018 NLDS.
Couldn't have picked a better one. From Santa Monica, California, is Max Fried. Now lives in Nevada. As this one's off the glove of Riley and into left field. Seager is thinking about turning it into 2, but he holds it first. On with 2 down here in the 5th inning. We teased it earlier. I don't know if we're going to have a lot more time to talk about Max Fried in his high school days at Harvard Westlake in Studio City, California. Committed to UCLA, signed with the Padres. He was the 7th overall pick in 2012. But he was on a high school team with Lucas Giolito, who's now with the White Sox, and Jack Flaherty, who's the ace with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Did they lose?
How could they? That was a base hit, by the way, and this one is up the middle. Good play by Swanson. Got him as he flipped to Albies covering.
It's going to be close.
And yeah, the runner Seager is still standing at second, believing they may want to take another look at this.
Wow,
we got him.
Great call.
What a good play by Dansby Swanson. Got it to Albies the only way he could. Hernandez, the home run. 1-1 ball game in game 1 after 5. Darno, our player resume sponsored by Indeed. He's been around. He's never hit like this. 2-year, $16 million deal with the Atlanta Braves. The regular season, that's a career high in average at .321. OPS, fantastic. And this postseason, big numbers. Tonight 0 for 1 with a walk and a flyout. Buehler deals low, ball 1. New ball game, 1-1 after the home run by Kike Hernandez. Rusdar Graterol, the right-hander, is getting ready for the Dodgers in their bullpen in case they need him. As Buehler is now with a season-high 96 pitches here in Game 1.
You're just seeing a clinic of fastballs against one of the best fastball hitting teams, the Braves. That just tells you how much life Buehler has on his fastball.
That's down the right field line. It is fair into the wall on a hop. Darno, after a good play by Betts, is held to a single. That's why Betts, who is now calling this home ballpark and has for the past 3 games and hopes to for this round and 1 more, is out here working on angles during batting practice. And he went right to it. No false steps, came up throwing, and a lesser play out and right. That's a double.
Yeah, there's some quirks where the ball comes off the railing and the fences to where you could get some doubles and triples that you wouldn't get in other ballparks. Only the second hit that Buehler's given up.
Albies now a foul at the plate.
And coming into this, the first 8 games in the postseason on his career had given up a 168 opponent's batting average against. That was 5th best amongst active pitchers. So I guess he'd rather walk you than give up a hit. He's living right up to it.
Out in front, good pitch here by Buehler, and a no ball 2 strike count.
So here's the amazing part about today's baseball. The shift in the numbers are working, right? It speaks to where guys hit the ball. You got 2 strikes on a fast hitter, and they're telling you there's no chance he's going to hit the ball on that side of the field. And they're going to protect on the right side, and anything on the ground is usually an out.
That's the other way for a base hit into left.
Seems easy, doesn't it?
Through a rather open left side of the infield. The bench loves it, as the Braves have put the first 2 on here in the 6th. Here comes Dave Roberts, and that's going to be all for Walker Buehler. Graterol is ready, and Buehler is not happy. Gives up the baseball. Pitching change, first of Game 1. Certainly not the last in a 1-1 game. Sponsored by Charles Schwab. Own your tomorrow. Walker Buehler is finished after pitching into the 6th inning, 5+. Responsible for the 2 on. Just 3 hits, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts. And here's Swanson. First pitch swinging off Graterol. Pops it up right side. That was a fair ball and caught by Hernandez. 1 pitch, 2 on, and now 1 out.
Well, that was a huge out, to state the obvious, mainly because Swanson had been so good against right-handed relievers and the rookies on deck, right? So you're coming in with a guy that throws 100, and the easiest 100 you've ever seen. The Braves' best chance right there easily was with Swanson at the plate.
So Graterol will deal with Pache. 21-year-old outfielder took the place of Adam Duvall, who strained his oblique in his plate appearance back in the 2nd. Tie ball game, 2 on, 1 out now, and that is a strike at 100 miles per hour, and that's about as easy a 100 as you'll ever see.
It's amazing. The whole story's amazing, how the Dodgers got him and what role he's playing for the Dodgers.
Ooh, 99.
course, there may probably be T-shirts, if they're not already made, of the glove throw and the hat throw and the incredible play that Bellinger made in the previous series. But right now, that's not on his mind.
0-2 pitch. Man. 2 out in the inning as Pache goes down. This kid, a former Minnesota Twin pitcher, was acquired by the Dodgers in February, and they may have their future closer right here.
I'm telling you. I mean, Red Sox didn't want him for the medicals, I believe, and he ended up going to the Dodgers and the Kenta Maeda, which has worked out very nicely for the Twins. But right now, you're talking about an electric arm. Nick Markakis better get the engine started a little sooner.
2 on 2 out in a blink. And that misses upstairs. Ball 1 to Markakis, who struck out twice against Buehler. Gratterall. Back to him, makes the play. How about the kid? Underhands to first. And with 2 on, nobody out. Buehler loves it. Snuffs out the rally. Still 1-1. The 22-year-old Brusdar Gratterall. Great stuff. Good fielding play, and the ball hit back up the middle by Markakis. Buehler loved it. And now Max Fried will try to give his team 6.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge inning for the Dodgers. My gosh, you're in a tough situation. And just like that, boom, 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 he comes in and sniffs it out. Not so sure about the PA announcer and his timing tonight.
Yeah, it's the second time. It happened earlier with Seager at the plate. Now it happens with Muncy. 0-1 pitch from Fried is on the way, and it's down. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think it might have been the press box. Everything, you can hear so many things now. You would normally not hear that, or would be drowned out by noise. But just like during the year, you could hear the bantering and the chatter going on in each dugouts.
Pitch number 84 from Fried is down again. 2-1. Muncy, then Smith and Bellinger. That just missed the outer edge. And a count 3-1 on Max, who was walked and struck out.
Yeah, the last at bat, Max. I guess I got to refer to which Max. Fried had his way with breaking ball, and then a fastball away. And at least for most of this at bat, Muncy has been able to stay off of it and work the count full.
Lefty getting loose. Matzik for Atlanta, and a strikeout as Fried comes back to get Muncy. He may have chased. And strikeout number 8 for the 26-year-old left-hander. Major League Baseball would like to honor, remember, and thank the frontline heroes who continue to lift up their fellow citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. It'll bring in Will Smith, who's 0 for 2. Big right-hander Dustin May is up for the Dodgers in their pen.
You know, you get ready for this series, at least I do, and I dive into some of the numbers and getting ready to see, you know, how the course of the year has played out. On a 3-2 count on the year for Max Fried coming into this game, 045 hitters were hitting. And that's supposed to be kind of a neutral count, but he's been dominant when he gets to that count. Been dominant when he gets to 2 strikes as well.
He's just kind of been dominant.
Yes, he has.
7-0 during the regular season.
Yes, he has.
No decisions yet in the postseason. Pitching well here tonight. Certainly not in awe of the stage. Pitching in front of human beings in the seats here in Arlington. Albeit just over 11,000 of them. Not a full house. Capacity at this first-year ballpark, 40,300. Just tied him up. 9 strikeouts for Freed. 2 out here in the 6th inning.
Both pitchers are really making these two great offenses look silly in game 1. That ties him up inside. Buehler had 7 strikeouts. And now Max Fried's taken the lead. He's struck out more Dodgers than Dodgers have struck out Braves. And I'll tell you what, couldn't ask for a better performance.
Still rolling right along. Strike 1 into Cody Bellinger.
Remember that the Dodgers in theory have more depth and weapons they can use. That doesn't mean that the Braves bullpen doesn't lack that depth. They have great options in the bullpen. But if you're Brian Snitker, you want to condense that as much as possible these next 3 games so that you can utilize that depth in games 4 and 5 and 6 if necessary.
That's just outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two out, bases empty. Bellinger missed that by a lot. Strike 2.
Best slider of the night. That one had firm late tilt coming off of trying to protect against fastball. Watch this ball disappear. It's in the zone to Bellinger a long time. He missed it by 2 feet.
Can he strike out the side? Trying to. He did back in the 1st. He's trying to in the 6th. 2-2. Here is a 2-2. Off the end of the bat on the infield, Swanson. Max Fried has been terrific. What a game. Good start to this NLCS, tied at 1. Into the 7th, back after this from your local Fox station. Buehler was good in 5+. Gratterall couldn't have been better. And now Dustin May takes over. Gratterall, by the way, 0 of 9 inherited runners have scored against Gratterall. That includes this postseason. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's another easy 100 miles per hour from the big 6'6", 180-pound right-hander. Still a rookie, Dustin May.
Well, he has electric stuff, as you can see already at 100 just coming out of the pen, but he's a starter. And more than likely by the usage here, looks like for an inning, I guess, he'll be maybe pushed to a game 5 start, I would think, depending on what they want to do. But during the year, he was a starter. Gonsolin was a starter. You could use Urias as a starter. So in theory, the Braves have the Dodgers have 5 starters to the Braves 3. But one of their starters is in a bridge inning right now.
That is a breaking ball for strike 3, looking on Austin Riley. And now 9 strikeouts racked up by Dodger pitchers. And between innings, Brian Snitker down to talk to Max Fried. It appears to be the pat on the right shoulder, and that's the end of the night. Here's one into right center field. Back to get it is Betts. Hard hit by Acuna, and a loud second out here in the top of the 7th.
I was getting ready to say, but Acuna makes things happen so fast. He against May would be a better matchup than Acuna against Buehler because of the 2-seam action. Acuna loves the 2-seamer versus the 4-seamer, and he just couldn't get enough of it in this spacious ballpark to do damage.
Dustin May with 3 innings pitched over the last 2.5 weeks. as he deals a strike. Nothing but strikes so far out of the pen. Freddie Freeman, who homered for the only run tonight for Atlanta in one of their 3 hits. That's it. Homered back in the first inning. Kike Hernandez with a home run tied it. Goes the other way. Surrounding it, gloving it, throwing it is Seager in a quick 7th inning for Dustin May. Time to stretch in game 1. Tied 1-1.
Well, if you want to know how this young man was so good, check out some of the strikeouts and the array of pitches that he was able to make this great lineup look normal. And we're going to show you a side angle of the decision a hitter's got to make. The fastball is going to come right out of the same slot. That's over the top, good arm angle, and then the curveball, can't tell the difference. And if he throws it at the same height, there's no chance the hitter has. Watch the line differential, and that's the seconds that you have, not even, to make a decision to recognize a fastball, curveball, slider. And now the Braves are going to go to their good pen and have Chris Martin, who's got a heavy sinker. I think 6'8" is what he stands, and a slider and cutter action with an occasional curveball. Only a 1 ERA on the year.
Great numbers. We'll go through them. Leading it off in the bottom of the 7th, A.J. Pollock, who hits one in the air to left center field. Over to his right is Pache, and he's got it for 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 7th. 6 holds for Chris Martin and a save in 19 games. His whip 0.61, the lowest among players with as many innings pitched as him. He allowed 8 hits on the year. When you talk to Brian Snitker about his bullpen, they have a lot of different ways they can go, but the back end of it, the lefty Will Smith, the righty Chris Martin, and then Mark Melancon is the closer. Those are the 3 main players down there in a game such as this. Here's Kike Hernandez. His homer tied it in the 5th. Takes ball 1. One-0 to Hernandez. 94 miles per hour. Strike 1. The home run Hernandez hit back in the 5th inning to tie it was a no-doubter, the same way Freddie Freeman's was back in the 1st. It's all the scoring you need to know about. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Kike touched one off. A homer in 30 out of 30 ballparks.
I would say any homer in this ballpark is going to be out of 30 ballparks for the most part. What a beautiful field. New home of the Rangers.
That's down 2-2. The old ballpark for the Rangers still standing.
Yeah, how about that? High school football, high school baseball games, maybe a concert or 2.
Minor league soccer over there. XFL when it was up and going. Two-two pitch with 1 out, nobody on. Hernandez reaches out, spoils the pitch. The old ballpark really wasn't that old. Home of the Rangers from 1994 through last year. 26 years. There's the old ballpark. It is lined for football. And this place is gorgeous. Good looking field too for an artificial surface. 2-2 the count. Martin ready with 1 out, nobody on, and another foul.
It's a shame, though, they just didn't make some of their stadiums around here big enough.
Everything's bigger in Texas. Never forget riding with Troy to the first game we did at AT&T Stadium. We got up the highway and we stopped and looked at that thing, and he was like, man, look at the size of that place. It is massive.
It really is. I got a first-hand look yesterday for the first time. Unreal.
Another foul by Hernandez.
Great job spoiling off some really good pitcher pitches. These are the kind of pitches you're hoping to make that usually either result in a weak contact out or a swing and a miss.
Saw that little elevator, as we call it in the business. I'll be with Troy and Aaron in Tampa, Florida for the Bucks and the Pack on Sunday. Another foul by Hernandez. Good at bat. Count stays 2-2. Pitch number 9 coming up.
Yeah, I was surprised we didn't see more of these type of bats. You know, the pitchers have been so good, they haven't really gotten to many 9 and 10 pitch at bats, which a lot of the players in this game are famous for. Martin got away with one there. He's either got to bounce the slider or go with a heater and change the direction of how Kike has been on his pitches.
In the air to left field. Park will hold it. Markakis to his left. 2 down. Tonight's telecast sponsored by IBM. Let's put smart to work. And by Camping World, making RVing fun and easy since 1966. Saw that look at Dustin May in the dugout with the jacket partially on. 81 degrees in a sweatshirt. 81 degrees at the start of the night. Looks like he'll go back out there. Nobody up for the Dodgers in their pen, and the pen is quiet for Atlanta at the moment as Chris Taylor, the number 9 hitter, steps in with the bases empty.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan was for Dustin May, but I know it was made easier when he didn't have many pitches he threw. So maybe it expanded the role and where the Braves are in their batting order. Of course, Ozuna is supposed to lead off.
The interesting piece to this puzzle is the status of Kenley Jansen and the sporadic velocity that he's shown here recently. A 1 pitch is in there for strike 2. We talked to Dave Roberts, and he was consistent with his message to us, as he's been with other members of the media, that he just doesn't feel compelled to just anoint somebody the closer right now. He's just going to feel it out. He said Kenley just wants to get outs wherever they come in the ball game, but his stuff has not been typical Kenley Jansen here lately. That's outside, ball 1.
Now, they made some adjustments coming into the Padres series, and he looked good in game 1. They backed him up in game 2. He looked good the first 2 batters, and then it was like the stuff just kind of evaporated, and they had to bring in Joe Kelly. He pitched with the bases loaded, a tying run at the plate, and was able to get the ground out for the sweep, inevitable sweep of the Padres. But that series was played much tighter than the 3-0.
A strikeout ends the inning, and the relief pitching by each side outstanding so far in game 1. Dustin May headed back to work. Ozuna will lead it up. Welcome back to the NLCS, presented by Camping World, as Dustin May fires down and away. Ball 1 to Marcell Ozuna. May won game 1 of the division series with 2 innings of relief. Walker Buehler opened the ball game 2 nights later in game 3 through 1 inning, and then Julio Urias was phenomenal for 5 innings in that ball game.
Yes, he was. This is an interesting matchup. The swing plane of Ozuna is really conducive for that two-seam sinker. He started him off with a slider, but then came in with the sinker.
1-1 pitch.
That's the pitch you got to get him on. If you could throw that pitch a couple more times, that's the only thing that's got a little hole in Ozuna's magical year when you think about what he's done in MVP votes.
That is into left center field. That ball is down into the wall. Ozuna with a double to start this 8th inning off May.
This is the kind of swing I was talking about. He keeps the barrel of the bat in the zone as long as anybody. It's like a, I don't know, saucer swing. He's trying to get the barrel right down to that. You see the follow through. Watch his hands. The bat's vertical, but then watch how long it stays in the zone. And he split the gap right there. You're talking about Ozuna, a magical year. Hitting over 300 on fastballs, and that one was a mistake by May.
He led the way in hits with 77. That's his 6th of the postseason. And he's trying to get time out back at second base, not getting it. Putting that sliding glove, that oven mitt on the right hand. Strike one on a breaking ball to d'Arnaud. I bet the Braves 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. Other than the 2 home runs, 1 by each side, that was the first extra base hit of the ball game in this spacious park.
This is where d'Arnaud has been excellent. Runners in scoring position.
Left side. That will not advance the runner. Turner makes the play. Big out for the Dodgers. 1 on, 1 out. Albies is coming in. 1 for 3 on the night. And now a quick word from Roman Health.
Get up to $50 off at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, proud partner of Major League Baseball.
So d'Arnaud does not drive home the runner and doesn't advance the runner. Ozuna at second, 1 away for Albies. Ozzie with an opposite field base hit his last time up, just his 2nd opposite field hit of the year. Takes inside for ball 1.
Yeah, they have to play it more traditional, of course, with a runner on second. You see Turner is off the bag. Ozuna, not much of a stolen base threat, but you could put a lot of pressure on Turner racing over to the bag to field a throw and get a would-be stolen base runner, but Ozuna not really part of his game.
Smith would have to hit Turner like Jared Goff would throw to Cooper Kupp. Hit him on the run. Talked about just the 2 hits the opposite way for the entire year, and number 2 came in the 6th inning. That's why they're swung around to the right for the switch hitting second baseman.
He has power, a lot more power from the right side. Can jam them in with cutters. Be careful you don't leave one over the middle heart of the plate.
Leadoff double. Ozuna at second, 1 out. That is inside for ball 2.
I think if the count gets away from him here, maybe a 3-1 count, they might consider. Payson Swanson, but
here's the next from Dustin May. Fouled back. Good rip. 2-2.
And see, the reason I say cutters in, he has such a big swing for a little guy, and that's where he generates his power. And so if you can get it in there, it ties him up. Especially
belt or higher. And that's what May has been trying to get the ball inside with that cutting action.
6'8" right-hander from the belt to the plate. Inside at 100. Full count. Albies was the last hitter faced by Buehler, who went 5+. And Gratterall took over. Second inning of work from May. Three-two pitch. Struck him out on a pitch down and in. 2 out. Second strikeout for May.
Committed so early to this pitch, he never had a chance. That ball was never a strike. But when you're committed, thinking that you want to make something happen, that's what happens sometimes when a pitch is in a spot you can't do anything with.
Ball was so far in, it almost caught him on the back knee. Now the intentional walk to Swanson. And with Pache coming up, Brian Snitker is going to go to his bench and call on longtime big league vet Pablo Sandoval. One in 5 kids in the U.S. may not be able to afford to play Little League next season. Every time you text Little League to 313131, T-Mobile will donate $1 to their Little League call-up grant program so our kids can keep playing ball. Well, added for just this kind of a spot.
Yeah.
Pablo Sandoval.
That meeting in the mound was to tell May he could hit this ball on the bounce. He could hit it up at the Braves logo. This is one of the most unpredictable, wild swinging, but find the baseball type players you've ever seen.
He has been a postseason hero his years with the Giants, and they went out, picked him up, added him to the roster, and got a .344 postseason batting average, highest among active players. But it's been a while since he's put up big numbers in the big leagues. Batting with 2 on and 2 out after the walk to Dansby Swanson. That one got him, and Sandoval will go down to first base. Hit by the pitch, just grazed by it. The bases are loaded now for Markakis, and with action in the bullpen, Dave Roberts is going to go to his bullpen, as that just got him. The left-hander Victor Gonzalez coming in for the Dodgers. Dustin May is gone, leaves with the bases loaded, 2 out in a 1-1 game. We've seen pinch hitters, we've seen moves out of the bullpen as Gonzalez takes over, the lefty. He will deal with Charlie Culberson off the bench. Batting for Nick Markakis, who was 0 for 3. They get the right-handed bat in there, and going after the first pitch, he fouls it right side for strike 1.
Gonzalez, the starter in the minors, really wasn't going in the right direction. They converted him to a reliever, and he's been outstanding. I like him a lot, sinker, slider, and for Culberson, former Dodger,
Likes the ball out over the strike zone. And they're going to get their signs together. So important here. Bases loaded.
Kike Hernandez a part of that meeting as he was the go-between and some sort of cross-up there.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a slider inside and sinker away. That'll do it.
Culberson with the Dodgers in 16 and 17. Waits and grounds it foul outside third. 2 quick strikes from Victor Gonzalez.
Most of the traffic on the bases this game's been by the Braves, and each reliever has come in and inherited a sticky situation, although be it 2 outs, no room to put anybody. And the Dodgers relievers have come through to this point.
Lefties were 5 for 35 against Victor Gonzalez, so Snitker made the move. Calls on Culberson. Grounder to third is foul, so 3 straight pitches, 3 straight fouls.
That's something we haven't seen all year. Turner gets to throw the ball into the crowd instead of a cardboard cutout.
Throw it to a grouping of Dodger fans in the second deck. So the Braves are down to 1 player on their bench. That's their other catcher, Tyler Flowers. They've already lost Adam Duvall to a strained oblique in the game. Another 0-2 and a strikeout by Gonzalez. What a job by the lefty to strike out Culberson. And Bale May and the Dodgers out of trouble in the 8th. Still tied at 1. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Indeed. Upload your resume today. And by Hankook Tire, never halfway. Bullpen doing its job tonight for the Dodgers. A lot of different ways Dave Roberts can go. And they have been good enough. Look at the changes. And look at the outfield. Not exactly the way the Braves or Brian Snitker drew it up. As the left-hander Will Smith, third pitcher of the night for Atlanta, deals with Mookie Betts. Riley moves from third to left. Acuna is in center. Charlie Culberson is in right. Sandoval at third. And the new pitcher is Smith. Betts 0 for 3. Holds it high and fouls it off to the right. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Smith has a slider that he can throw just about any time he wants. That's his signature pitch. Fastball is actually average-wise the harder pitch to hit, but that's because you throw a lot of sliders and then sneak in that fastball. Both teams, as we talked about, on paper, they can go toe-to-toe with each other, and they have done that tonight.
93-mile-an-hour fastball by the bat of Betts. Smith, such a huge part of the mix and a guy who can close. It's gone from Fried to Martin to Smith. One-two pitch. He is flied into right. Culberson just into the game. 1 down.
When you think about what the Braves did before the season and no one knew what the season was going to be, they went out and made some great moves to shore up a weakness that they had last year. Offensively, speaks for themselves. Their depth was supposed to be one of their strengths, but the injuries to their starting rotation kind of did them in when the luxury, I guess you can call it, of 60 games allowed them to stay in it. Their bullpen is one of the best in baseball. The Dodgers, on the other hand, got rid of 3 starters. That's how good their depth was to shore up their club.
Seager chops one to the right side. Albies flips 2 down. 2 quick outs by Will Smith, an all-star a year ago with San Francisco. Ken Rosenthal, what are you seeing down there?
I'm seeing some very unusual Atlanta Braves out there, considering that in September, Pablo Sandoval was released by the Giants. That was September 10th. He signed with the Braves 4 days later. Charlie Culberson, designated for assignment by the Braves, cleared waivers, went to the alternate site, hit only 7 at-bats all season, only 1 appearance in the postseason as a pinch runner in Game 1 of the wild card round.
And now those two guys are involved in a 1-1 game, Game 1 of the NLCS. Ball 2 out, nobody on. Turner takes ball 1.
Well, with the extra roster spots, most of the teams have taken those to the pitching end, gaining some leverage with extra arms in the pen.
Yeah, even with the 28-man roster, you've got a 4-person bench on each side because of all of those arms down in the bullpens. One ball, one strike. Blake Treinen, the right-hander, getting loose. In the dirt. Ball 2.
Well, the Braves are missing Camargo and Inciarte. They, like the Dodgers, pretty set lineup, so that's not an issue of interchangeable parts. But when you have the movement they had and the injury in tonight's game, that puts him in a tough spot with the position players.
Yeah, that started it all with Duvall straining his oblique in the 2nd inning. That forced Pache into the game. Then that spot came up at the top of this inning with a chance to go ahead, so they pinch it with Sandoval. After the pitching change, Culberson came off the bench to hit for Markakis. We're down to only one bench player, Tyler Flowers, the other catcher. Here comes a 2-2 now, fouled away by Justin Turner.
I mean, this has been a classic game. You can't get more even. 1 run, 4 hits for each team. The difference is 10 men left on base for the Braves and 5 left on for the Dodgers. It's just been a better job of getting out of trouble when Dave Roberts has gone to the guys he needs in each instance.
Turner spoils the pitch, so the Braves will have the opportunity, if they believe it's a long-term situation for Duvall, to take him off the active roster, but then that means he misses the next round. So if they were to advance to the World Series, he would not be eligible.
Again, just hope it's not as bad as it appeared. And I'm sure we'll have some kind of notice after the game tonight.
We had the chance to visit with Brian Snitker, and it sounded from the way he talked like it is as severe as it appeared. But that'll be up to the medical staff now. Snitker, not a doctor, just wearing a mask.
But he did sleep in a Holiday Inn.
Here's a 3-2 and a strikeout ends the inning. How about this relief work by both sides? Who's coming up for Atlanta in the 9th? Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna, and Freddie Freeman. 1-1 after 8. Blake Treinen takes over. 32-year-old right-hander in the postseason for the 3rd time in his career. Started with Washington. Saved 38 games for the A's in 2018, and in his first year with the Dodgers, fires at 98 for strike 1 in a 1-1 ball game here in the 9th to Austin Riley.
That's kind of been kryptonite for Austin Riley. Down in the zone, fastballs up with velocity or down, but his sinker, he likes hitting the sinker versus the 4-seamers. Ooh, that was his pitch. You're talking about Treinen, who had a magical year 2 years ago. Not so much last year, but the Dodgers have found his lane and fixed a couple things. This is a nasty sinker, slider, cutter that he possesses.
'98 again. 0-2 remains the count on young Austin Riley.
See, the information today is so great for these players. Processing it and executing it is obviously the key. Everybody's going to be given the keys to the test of where the hitter likes it, where he doesn't, what the pitcher throws in which count.
Then you have to go do it. That ball is down. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Treinen 3-3, 1 save. 27 games and an ERA of 3.86 during the regular season, which consisted of 60 games, and the Dodgers had the best record in the major leagues at 43-17. That is hit deep into left center field. Back at the wall. It's gone. Austin Riley has put the Atlanta Braves on top here in the 9th with a home run off Blake Treinen. An absolute laser.
You're going to see that this pitch stays up. Mentioned down, he's got a hole. Likes the two-seamer versus the high four-seam velocity that he struggles with. This young man who broke in with his career on fire, hit the skids, and this year getting a chance to play every day.
That was a blast into left center field. And the Braves are back on top by 1.
Watch where this pitch is. This is a strong human being, and that ball stays up. It needs to go down to the shin guards of the catcher. See where he wanted his glove, and he knew it. Everybody knew it.
First postseason home run, and what a time to put Atlanta out in front in Game 1 of the NLCS. A strike into Acuna, 0-2. Well, that sounded and looked into left center field the way the ball hit into right by Freeman back in the first. Looked and sounded. 0-2 pitch is in the dirt. $18 home runs for Riley last year in 80 games. Did 86 home runs in the minor leagues. Did 8 more home runs this year. Lansing getting ready to try and shut the door in the bottom of this 9th. The Dodgers will have the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Still 1-2 on Acuna.
I'm assuming the rush of a closer who has a chance to save a game is still the same, even though it's not a jam-packed house. But when your team responds with a homer, you know what your job's going to be. As the visiting team, you're trying to close out the bottom of the 9th.
2-2. Dodgers have won 9 straight. 5-0 this postseason. Same record this postseason for Atlanta. Top 2 offensive teams, top 2 home run teams. And all 3 runs tonight via the home run ball. Hard hit, it's fair. Pass Turner down the line, and Acuna is cruising into second base. He's there with nobody out. A homer, now a double. Let's go back to the homer by Riley.
Well, this is just compact and gone. And he stood there, and I'm sure the dugout went crazy. See the bullpen going crazy. Got to be careful with Acuna at second. They're going to hold him as close as they can. Again, Turner playing off the bag because primarily Freeman pulls the ball, but I've never liked playing a shift against Freeman. He can hit it all over the place.
Good swing by Freddie Freeman, who's been with the Atlanta Braves in the bigs for 11 years. Could be the MVP in the National League this year. Number 2 in hits in the big leagues since the beginning of 2018. Number 1 Whit Merrifield of Kansas City, and now with a runner at second, still nobody out. Freeman skies one into center. Back is Bellinger near the wall, tagging and going to third is Acuna, and Freeman advances the runner 1 out. He got under, and this ball carried a long way to center.
Shades of Bellinger going back against the Padres, only this one is at the warning track. And now it'll be upon Ozuna to try and get the runner in at third with less than 2 outs. This is an area where the Braves have not been good during the year. Statistically making contact, getting the runner in with less than 2 outs.
Infield is in. Strike 1. Kike Hernandez is right behind Treinen near the bag. The other 3 infielders are in, with the exception at the moment of Turner at third. Ozuna. Strike 2. Treinen needs a strikeout. Ozuna trying to put it in play to bring home Acuna.
Will Smith has been so good. If you're Will Smith, you want to entice Treinen to trust him to block this slider. Runner on third, not easier. It's not as easy as it says to do, but that's what you got to get him to do. That was a great pitch.
You asked Brian Snitker before the game about the depth, the pitching situation with his team. He knows he's got 3 starters. He's going to have a bullpen day. He's got 3 guys he really trusts in the bullpen. About trying not to chase wins.
Yeah.
Well, he's used his big guns out of the bullpen. He's got a lead here in the 9th inning. He'll turn it over to his closer. He has used really almost everybody so wisely here tonight. Lost his left fielder Duvall. Up by 1 at the moment. And now the count has gone to 3-2 on Ozuna.
Well, fortunately for Brian Snitker, it has been a cleaner game to manage. His guys have been in less trouble. For Dave Roberts, unfortunately, it has not been as clean a game. Up to this point, he's handled it beautifully, and then the solo home run took the lead. It's been a classic game.
3-2 now from Treinen. Ozuna fights it off.
Thank you.
A homer, a double, a deep fly ball. Blake Treinen now trying to keep this a 1-run game. Little fly ball into right, base hit. And it's 3-1, Atlanta on top. Ozuna his 2nd straight hit. And a 2-run 9th inning with a chance for more, and Dave Roberts is out of the dugout. And he's going to go back to his bullpen. With d'Arnaud coming up. The inning started with the number 9 man in the order, Austin Riley. He hit a home run for the lead. Double by Acuna. Celebrating down the third baseline on the hit by Ozuna. 3-1 here in the 9th of game 1. who became the youngest player with a go-ahead home run in the 9th inning or later in a postseason game since Chipper Jones in Game 1 of the '95 NLDS. Here's a foul by d'Arnaud against the left-hander Jake McGee, who takes over for Trinan, who went 1/3 of an inning. 2 runs have scored. He's responsible for the runner at first, Ozuna, 3 hits.
This is Jake's first appearance in the postseason, so he's checking in. Hard-throwing left-hander. Always very few guys that can wear a uniform like that. That seems like they left the hanger in their jersey. Look at that, just broad shoulders.
He brings it home, and another foul by d'Arnaud. We first saw him in the postseason with the Rays, McGee, in 2011 and 13. The Rockies 3 years ago. Now the Dodgers.
Throws hard, primarily with that fastball.
Released by Colorado on July 17th, signed with the Dodgers. Made his LA debut on the 24th of July against the Giants. The lead is 2. That is popped up on the infield. Seager has it. 2 down here in the top of the 9th. And right now, a quick word from Evan Williams Bourbon.
Get ready for the next pitch with Evan Williams, bourbon done right.
Ozzie Albies will step to the plate. 1 for 4 tonight. Check swing. He went around. Strike 1.
How about this for Albies in his career coming into this game? Every pitch against the left-hander, he's hitting over 300 in his career. Not necessarily this year, but in his career.
Switch hitter. Comes up empty here in the count 0-2. 6th pitcher of the night for Dave Roberts. Lanson getting set. Nothing in 2, the count. That is well hit into left center field. Back at the wall, it's gone. Ozzie Albies, a 2-run shot. And it's a 5-1 ball game here in the 9th.
He just loves hitting against left-handed pitchers. I know he doesn't face as many of them as he does right-handed, but the power speaks for itself. He got it. Middle in.
Oh my, come on. Are you kidding me? Melanson getting ready to come in and work the bottom of the 9th inning. Caught the home run just hit by Ozzie Albies.
We'll see that every day.
Well, the Dodgers were #1 in home runs this year by plenty, 15 more than the #2 team. And the #2 team, Atlanta, and the Braves have homered 3 times tonight to the Dodgers 1. Here's a full swing by Swanson, pops it up, foul ball, and out of play. Teams that have out-homered their opponents so far this postseason, 23-1.
Yeah, and the one came in the Padres lost to the Dodgers, where they out-homered the Dodgers, only hit one in that series.
That dugout has been loose since before the first pitch of the night.
Well, they believe in their offense. Both clubs do. And you know, internally, every club, they're never going to say this when asked, but they know what makes them tick, where their weak spots are, what they have to avoid. This ninth inning alone, obviously 4 for 5 will get it done, but the Braves understand their young pitching's on a roll, that they can do just a little bit offensively, and they did tonight. The Dodgers, they're not worried about nothing. They know that this series is going to be hard fought.
See that damage with 0-2 counts. And this loose dugout, this loose Braves team, they come in as the underdog. They've been having fun tonight. 2 homers in the inning and a 4-run lead. It's 5-1 after 8.5. Welcome back to the Edited by Camping World. Good game that was just broken open in the top of the ninth. Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids, programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Help keep kids in the game by texting play to the number on your screen as Melanson takes over. We'll try to get the final 3 outs of the ball game, and the Dodgers do not want to go quietly here in the ninth inning. Muncy first up, took a strike, now grounds up the middle. Right there for the out. Dansby Swanson one away.
Well, everything that Melanson throws is going to have movement. He's got a lot of cutters, good curveball. He'll even throw a front door cutter to right-handers, which means he'll start it in, try to catch the inside part of the plate. He just manipulates the baseball and creates illusion. He doesn't overpower the zone with velocity.
Will Smith, the catcher, who's 0 for 3 tonight, bats with 1 out. And rides up and in. Max Fried was terrific as the starter. 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. Only hiccup was the home run by Kike Hernandez leading off in the 5th that tied the game. There's a strike.
And Buehler matched him. He wasn't at his sharpest best, but he certainly was able to keep the damage off the plate and off the run total.
Left side to Sandoval. Long throw is perfect. 2 down.
Well, tomorrow's starters, the Dodgers have Clayton Kershaw, and the Braves turn to another bright young pitcher in Ian Anderson.
Kershaw has been awesome, and Ian Anderson has been nothing short of spectacular. He's put up 2 scoreless starts this postseason. 1 against the Reds, 1 against the Marlins. Here's Cody Bellinger, 2 out, nobody on. 5-1 Atlanta here in game 1. Strike 1 from Melanson. Bellinger 0 for 3. The 0-1 pitch, strike 2. Braves are 1 out away from going 6-0 this postseason and ending the 9-game winning streak by the Dodgers. This is just chapter 1. Fouled away. Remains 0-2. Not a save situation, but for Melanson, he converted 11 of 13 save chances this year, his second year with the Braves. Will Smith stands in line for the win. Blake Trinan the loss. Another 0-2. Back to Melanson, over him to the shortstop Swanson. Braves take game one. A final of 5-1. The starter Freed outstanding. They popped 3 home runs. The go-ahead shot, Austin Riley in the top of the 9th, and Albies hit a 2-run shot for good measure to make it 5-1. And John, postseason baseball usually comes down to which bullpen is better on that given night in that given game, and tonight Atlanta's bullpen was better.
They were. They pitched a much cleaner game, and they stayed away from really any kind of rallies. They got the leadoff hitter. They missed the barrels of the bat of the Dodgers, and I'll tell you what, this is going to be a great series. We knew it before we came in. Game one went to the Braves.
5-1 is the final in a 3-hour, 22-minute ball game that was 1-1 into the 9th when Atlanta broke it open. And they take game one. We will step aside and say hello once again to Kevin Burkhardt and the crew.